By the mid-1980s, corporal punishment in British schools was living on borrowed time. Some schools had abandoned it years earlier. Others retained it, but used it only occasionally. A smaller number continued to use the ruler, slipper or cane with enough regularity that pupils remained genuinely frightened of receiving them. The arguments surrounding corporal punishment had also changed. Earlier generations often regarded physical punishment as an ordinary part of childhood. By the 1970s and 1980s, parents, campaigners and educationalists were increasingly questioning whether female teachers striking children had any legitimate place in education. There were protests too. One contributor recalled the so-called Heaton riots in northeast England, where schoolgirls protested when it was announced that corporal punishment would be applied to girls as well as boys. The episode became an example of pupils themselves challenging traditional disciplinary authority. Whatever side people took, the direction of travel was becoming obvious. The cane was disappearing. So was the slipper. The ruler was gradually returning to being simply something used for drawing straight lines. In 1987, corporal punishment was abolished in British state schools, bringing to an end a disciplinary tradition that generations of children had regarded as an ordinary, if frequently dreaded, part of school life. Yet personal memories reveal something legislation alone cannot. Ask 10 former pupils what school corporal punishment was like, and you may receive 10 completely different answers. One remembers pain. Another remembers fear. Someone else remembers humiliation. Another laughs about it. One person believes their punishment was deserved. Another, decades later, remains convinced it was completely excessive. And sometimes the strangest details survive longest. The boy proudly announcing that he had been caned by a female teacher. The academically successful pupil embarrassed because his rival's gym shoe had been used by a teacher to slipper him. The parents discovering with astonishment that their daughter's modern comprehensive school still possessed a cane. And the shy 11-year-old girl who went to the headmistress's office for chewing gum came back having received the slipper, and unexpectedly became something of a playground celebrity. These are small memories from a much larger social change. The school children of the early 1980s were standing on a dividing line between two eras. Behind them was a school system in which physical punishment by teachers and headmistresses had been accepted for generations. Ahead was a very different understanding of discipline, children's rights, and the relationship between pupils and teachers. For a few final years, however, the old and new worlds existed together. There were computers arriving in classrooms, new teaching methods being introduced, and changing attitudes spreading through staff rooms. Female teachers who had begun their careers when the ruler, slipper and cane were accepted instruments of school discipline were now working in an educational system that was rapidly turning against them. And somewhere, perhaps in the bottom drawer of a headmistress's desk, there might still have been an old black plimsoll waiting to be used.